Gillette goes for the double down with another woke ad. Now, the first thing I want to say, the ad that Gillette has released, the latest one, is not bad at all. For those that aren't familiar, Gillette released an ad that was really negative before. It kind of like made, it was a stereotype of bad men. Instead of talking about all the good things men did, they tried to make a negative ad. It's really weird that they would do that, considering the ads used to be, from Gillette, showing men doing great things, and now they're showing men doing bad things, as if men want to be berated too. Well, some probably do, most probably don't, and so it was really bad. They were panned, criticized heavily, and ultimately it was bad PR, right? But as they say, there's no such thing as bad press. So the next thing that happens is Gillette puts out this like white, blonde hair, blue-eyed family military video, and I thought that was a really weird swing in the other direction. Like, Gillette, you have lost the plot. You really have no idea what you're doing. And now we have the next iteration. This is Gillette releases ad with trans man shaving for the first time. Here's the thing. The ad is absolutely fine. I think the ad is fine. The issue is that you'd think at a certain point Gillette would stop going nuts and just sell razors, okay? Before we read into all of this, I want to go to timcast.com/donate if you want to support my work. Monthly donation through PayPal, cryptocurrency, and a physical address. But of course, liking and commenting are some of the best things you can do to support the video, because YouTube likes the engagement, or just share it on social media, help spread the news. So in this ad, we have a trans man shaving for the first time. The New York Daily News says Gillette has released a new advertisement featuring a trans man shaving for the first time as his father looks on with pride. The ad features Samson Bakiabantu Brown, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, a young Canadian who says, "Growing up, I was always trying to figure out what kind of man I want to become, and I'm still trying to figure out what kind that I want to become." Brown then receives encouragement and advice from his father. "Now don't be scared. Shaving is about being confident. You are doing fine." Brown concludes the ad by saying, "It's not just myself transitioning, it's everyone around me transitioning." The ad's tagline is, "Whenever, wherever, however it happens, your first shave is special." My first shave wasn't special. I don't even remember my first shave. So here's the issue. Trans men shave. Trans men exist. Plain and simple. I think the ad is 100% fine. The issue I take with the original ad that got everyone angry was that it was mean. It was negative. It like put people down. That's not what we want to highlight. We don't want to, it was just weird. It's like, there were some, I don't want to rehash the past, but there were some scenes where I was like, what are you doing? You know, there was like a guy wants to talk to a woman and then someone stops him. It's like, what? How do you think people meet in public? It was just a really cringy woke ad. Now, people are calling this a woke ad, and I think you could sort of say that, but I think just because it's showing that trans people shave, like a trans man shaves, I don't think it's necessarily going woke, because to me, woke represents something else. But the bigger issue at play is woke washing. And this is actually really interesting. This is an article from Owen Jones. My understanding, I'm not super familiar, is that Owen Jones is far left, regressive, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if it's fair to call him regressive because I don't know who he is, so I won't say that, but more aligned with woke culture. But he also criticizes these big brands for woke washing. Here's the reality, Gillette. The people who don't like when you do this stuff, the get woke ads, they get angry, and so do the actual woke people. Because no one believes you actually care about this stuff. You look bad and look silly. And so I'm reminded of this meme. It's the first thing I thought of. How many times do I have to teach you this lesson, old man? Because I want to talk a little bit about Gillette. So first of all, Gillette put out the woke ad that pissed everybody off. But then they put out this Every Hero Sweats, which depicts a blonde hair, blue-eyed military family. And I thought that was kind of weird. And they disabled likes for it. Okay? They disabled likes going forward. But here's what's weird about it. Listen. I think it's fine if you're a blonde-haired, blue-eyed military family. That's not the point. The point is, it's kind of a weird swing in the other direction. It's like, dude, who are you? What are you doing? Okay? If Gillette made an ad outright called Every Hero Sweats, no one would have thought twice. But because they make the woke ad and then immediately do this like white perfect family thing, it's kind of like, are you trying to court the alt-right? I know that's maybe a bit much. But I gotta say, like, Gillette does not have a good track record for making ads and knowing what they're doing. So I personally found it was weird. Now, here's the other important bit. You'll notice, 1 month ago, their last video, I don't see I don't see the new ad. That's right. They only put it on Facebook, which says to me they understood they're treading on dangerous territory. So let's talk about this idea of woke washing. Owen Jones writes this, and he talks about how brands are cashing in on the culture wars. But of course, they're trying to take the side of the woke, and all they do, for the most part, is kind of insult woke people. Now, I think when you look at the comments on Facebook for this Gillette ad, you'll see a lot of people are saying, like, this is beautiful, spot on, it's great. And these are kind of just like passive liberals, in my opinion. These are not super woke people. Some of them are. But for the most part, it's just people on Facebook saying this like, oh, that's so sweet. And I think that's fine, 100%. Let's read what Owen Jones has to say about woke washing. He said, imagine getting angry over a sandwich. When Marks & Spencer launched its LGBT sandwich, basically your classic BLT with some gay guacamole thrown in, I, along with a list of other LGBTQ commentators, was asked by ITV's This Morning if I was offended by the sandwich. I wasn't, and neither were any of the others they asked. So this fixture of daytime television settled on a former associate of David Icke, who proceeded to rant about trans people. How did we arrive at a point where sandwich packaging is debated on daytime TV? I will stop and say, I agree. That's so dumb. I remember the sandwich pack. If you're not familiar, a sandwich came out and it was like LGBT or something, and it was like lettuce, bacon, guacamole, and tomato, and it was supposed to be like a woke brand. And some people got angry. I didn't care. I'm like, whatever. Who cares? You know, like I don't care about this ad either. That's the important point. I like this ad. I think it's good. I think the bigger issue is that Gillette keeps trying to pander and play this game. Stop. You sell razors. Just stop. More importantly, I think if they made this ad, if they never made the one that was like negative about men, the initial go broke for Gillette, this probably would have been fine. Like nobody would care. The issue is they're stacking it on top of like, dude, you took your shot, you missed, you screwed up. Just stop. Okay, please, just stop. Let's go back to see what Owen Jones has to say. Brands are increasingly flirting with the realm of politics. This week, Lacoste announced it would swap its trademark crocodile logo for 10 limited edition polo shirts featuring a different endangered species instead. It was soon pointed out that the company was offering gloves made from deer leather and cow leather handbags online. When police asked McDonald's to stop selling milkshakes in Edinburgh during a visit by Nigel Farage, following the milkshaking of far-right activists, Burger King cheekily announced to people of Scotland that they were selling milkshakes all weekend. But has this fast food giant really joined the anti-fascist resistance? No! Burger King pays their employees trash wages, and it's just... Burger King is a scummy fast food restaurant. I seriously don't think they care at all about any of this. They're just trying to be sassy and generate buzz and press. They don't care about you. They want money. That's all they care about. Green pictures of dead presidents. Owen says, you don't have to have digested Karl Marx's Das Kapital to recognize that companies are driven by the profit motive, not changing the world. But can advertising ever have an ethical dimension? According to estimates by the New Economics Foundation think tank a decade ago, the negative consequences of advertising, from promoting indebtedness to social and environmental damage, meant that for every pound of value generated by an advertising executive, $11 worth was destroyed. I doubt their figures have significantly changed since. When brands flash their support for just causes, aren't they cynically preying on your conscience so you will cough up a phenomenon known as woke washing? Yes, woke washing should not make anybody happy. If you are someone who is woke, okay, and you believe in all the privilege stuff and social justice, you should not appreciate big corporations trying to manipulate your ideals to make money off of you. Also, you need to consider how they bastardize your actual ideology. I do not appreciate corporations trying to play these silly games because they create a plastic version of what is actually trying to be talked about. And then regular people believe the plastic version is the real version. The clean corporate message is what we're really talking about. He goes on to say, back in the 80s, when activists succeeded in driving the environment on the public agenda, the oil company Chevron launched an advertising campaign flaunting its extremely dubious green credentials. It was perhaps the most egregious example of greenwashing, when polluting corporates would use the climate crisis as a PR exercise, showing themselves to be cavorting with wildlife and saving the planet to deflect from their unsound record. purely so environmentally conscious consumers would keep buying their products depressingly. There were signs it worked. Polling in California in the aftermath of the campaign suggested people regarded Chevron as the oil giant they trusted most to protect the environment. I love it. I love it. I like this article from Owen because I think it shows something really important. There are people who are woke. There are people who are red-pilled. There are people who agree and disagree. There's some overlap in agreement between the woke and the red-pilled types because, for the most part, politics are there's shades of gray and there's overlap. But when I say there's some agreement here, it's this. Owen Jones criticizing these companies for manipulating what they believe in to sell a product and make money, and they don't care about you. And at the same time, you have the anti-SJW types saying, get woke, go broke, stop playing politics. Both sides saying, stop playing politics. Sell me a goddamn sandwich, okay? And a razor. I don't need to hear some heartwarming tale about your political ideology. So let's just wrap up Owen Jones' article. I don't want to prattle too much on this because he goes on a great deal. But actually, I'll stop here. He makes a really great point about Nike. He says, earlier this year, Nike's profits soared $6 billion after its Kaepernick ad. The company then launched a campaign fronted by Serena Williams that challenged attitudes towards women. If we show emotion, we're called dramatic. If we want to play against men, we're nuts. She says over footage of female athletes campaigning for equal pay or demanding to play in exclusively male leagues. All very noble, but with Nike-sponsored runner Alyssa Montano condemning the company this week for not providing her paid maternity leave, the firm might want to look at whether it's treating its own female athletes with basic rights first. Yes, because what we can see over and over again, they don't care about you. They don't put their money where their mouth is. Behind the scenes, they're massive corporations driven by the profit motive and don't care about being woke. They are manipulating the woke to make money. And in the end, people like Owen Jones can point it out, talk about it, but the regular passive liberal types are going to see it and go, oh, how sweet. And it's probably going to work to some degree. He also brings up how you've got, stores working in Saudi Arabia while they claim to support LGBTQ employees. And these things are always brought up. This is what I think is really interesting. If the red-pilled and woke came together on this issue and shook hands and said, let's tell the corporations to screw off. I was going to swear. Let's just wrap up the story though, because he talks about Gillette. And this is a really long story. Wow. He says, whether you think it's woke washing or companies raising and mainstreaming important issues, this is a phenomenon that is only here to stay. But that is not only here to stay, but will keep growing. Capitalism has proved its ability to adapt. At a time when so many younger people quite legitimately feel that their economic system doesn't work for them, big business appealing to their sense of idealism is a savvy move. So while I am still not going to get angry about a sandwich, I am not going to start pretending it will change the world either. And I want to make a point about Owen's first question, where he wraps up. It's actually a well-structured article, I got to say. Why are we debating sandwiches on television? Well, this is why. Because we're witnessing corporations try to play up ideals of people who want to change the world, be it, for the better or for worse, whatever your personal opinion is. They're manipulating you. They're just doing, this is their train ticket. This is them saying, what are the young kids into? Oh, they're protesting? Let's hop on board. And think about what this really means. Let's say you're indebted. You're massive college debt. One of the things I think that is holding back, that is driving so many young people towards communism, is that they have massive school debt because they were told by their parents and our society, you have to do this. And now they're indentured servants. Think about what that means. If you have massive debt and you're already living under the boot, okay, when you go to work, half your check has to go to some loan, and you're thinking, man, I have no choice. I have to do this or else. Communism doesn't sound so bad. It's the same thing. Live under the boot of the government. Who cares? College debt is really, really holding people back. So I bring this up because imagine this. Many of you probably relate to this. You went to college, you got a degree, and maybe you got a degree somewhere that made sense, but you still couldn't find a job. Now you're frustrated, you're pissed off, you want to know why this happened. You want to know why society told you to do this thing that kind of screwed your life up. You can always argue personal responsibility. I didn't go to college because I saw this happening. But I can't blame young people for being dumb, okay? So now they're young adults, they're looking for jobs, they have the weight of the world pushing them down, and they think, how do we solve this problem? Pepsi pops up with a clapping and saying, have a Pepsi. What do you think these people are going to think when you do this? Do you think they're going to be like, wow, Pepsi, thanks for highlighting my issues? It's like Burger King also did this ridiculous woke ad where it was like they're doing unhappy meals or something. And I'm like, damn, that's what you're trying to sell to? If you're not familiar, it was like, there's like the Yas meal. I think it's Burger King. It's like the Yas meal and the pissed off meal or something, and like the who cares meal. And it's like, I have no idea what the meals are supposed to be because they didn't advertise what they're actually selling. But effectively, they had like a commercial where a guy's like they're talking about how he's got student loan debt, can't find a job, and he lives with his parents. And I'm like, dude, you think that's what I want to see? There's a reason why people are buying virtual reality. There's a reason why people play video games all day. It's because this is not fun to think about. So this is what these big corporations do. Burger King cheers on people throwing milkshakes at each other. That's not a good thing, dude. That is not a good thing. They make ads rubbing it in your face that your life sucks and then try to sell you a burger. They show people protesting unjust police brutality. And they have Kendall Jenner, giving Pepsi to police and everyone's smiling. You thought that was a good idea? Man, get woke, go broke. I'm going to wrap up by saying this. If even someone like Owen Jones is going to be critical of what these brands are trying to do, then get woke, go broke. Sure, we can be literal and say they'll probably make money off some of these ads, for sure. Get woke, go broke is not a law, right? It's not a physical law. Some woke things work, some woke things don't. I think the ad for the trans man shaving, I like it. I think it's a good ad. I do. I just think Gillette keeps playing the silly game, and now I don't like Gillette even more so. It's like, dude, stop. Just back off. But so I guess what I can say is get woke, go broke also means something else. Get woke, go broke is also the figurative in that morally bankrupt, you're going to get people of all ideologies against you. You might make money. It might be a sound business practice, but you go broke in other ways. And so I know people say get woke, go broke quite literally to mean if you try and engage in these woke politics, you will lose money. So maybe there's something else that says when you engage in these politics, you expose yourself for the vapid, soulless corporation you really are. And no, not even people like Owen Jones are going to believe you care about anything and actually want to change the world. So, rant over. End of story. Gillette made the ad. I'll leave it there. Thanks for hanging out. More segments to come. If you're watching on YouTube, comment below. Let me know what you think because the engagement tells YouTube the video is good and then YouTube shares it more. Click the like button or just share the video somewhere because YouTube really loves that. Or if you're listening on the podcast, then leave a positive review. That really, really helps as well. Thanks for hanging out and I will see you all in the next segment.